Good morning. Quick video. People and their pets. Yeah. Now when I say a pet for me is a animal that they have inside the house. If you have a animal outside your home that you feed and keep in your yard, that's not a pet. That animal normally serves some purpose, right? Like if you have a dog that's outside your house, a dog is there for a reason. Like a junkyard dog, right? Out in the junkyard among the cars, right? When you have an animal inside your house, now that's a pet. Okay? People and their pets. You know what a pet is? In reality, a pet is a child. Yeah. That pet occupies the space of a child in your home when you got a pet. But unlike a child, it's not as much responsibility really. And the pet don't really talk back, the pet doesn't really sneak out and go get in trouble or that kind of stuff, Less liability. A pet is like having a child with less liability, less issues. If you want to, you can put the pet to sleep if you want to. If you want to, anytime you can carry the pet to a shelter, and just give the pet up. You want to move to someplace new and you just can't carry the pet with you. You just carry it to a animal shelter. Hey, I don't want this pet no more. I can't take care of it. Just give it up. You can't do that with a child. Right. So people and their pets. So people have pets for companionship, to feel like they have use, but it's not a child, because a child is hard work. Raising children is hard. It's a lot of work. And you can't just stop because you want to. If you do, then the state might get you, for child support, or you'll be a deadbeat dad. You run away, leave your kids, or a deadbeat mom. You run, leave your kids, and you've been knowing you'll be those kids will have you up. It's gonna be hard to get back with those kids in the future. Lot of quite a few people do that, men and women. Take off when the stress gets too much. Abandon their kids. Oh, it happens a lot. Yeah, because they can't carry the kid to a shelter and give it up. And same thing with well, I won't get into that. I won't say that. But yeah, pets are children with less liability. That's what pets are. But I say to you who have pets, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have a pet. I'm just saying, when I see somebody with a pet inside the house and they taking the pet to the vet to get their shots and they tagging the pet, and what I'm saying, it's like the pet is like another person, which again, I'm not saying that is necessarily a bad thing, but I'm saying that when that person, for example, have like no children, for example, right, that is their child, right? Am I wrong to say that? Am I wrong to to point that out? I don't think so. I'm just, because what I want to say is that in modern society, right, children are not valued. It's all abortion. Children are seen as liabilities. Like I was watching that guy that does that Rich Dad Poor Dad book, the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and he listed he was making a chart of assets and liabilities, and he listed children as liabilities, and that's the last time I watched a video from that guy. Once he said that children are in the liabilities section. No, children are assets if you raise them right. And if you don't raise them right, they're still assets. They can be liabilities. They can be, it can mess you up, yes. But really, children are assets that you have to, raise right and treat right. And they, the blessings will come back on you. When you have a pet, that pet probably most likely will die before you. What's the point? It's like a pet is like grief. almost. You know, invest all the time and energy in a pet, and the pet dies. You know, they do that. They normally do. You know, you say, yeah, a pet is better than a child, easier than a child, easier, not better, easier to raise than a child, easier to put up with than a child. You put a pet in a cage if you want to. You can't do that to a child. Pet don't argue with you back and forth. Pet don't slam doors in your face and say, I hate you, which by the way, is not normal and will never happen in my house. Not, you know. That is crazy people thing, you know. Kids slamming doors in the house I'm paying for. He's saying I hate you in the house I'm paying for, the door I'm paying for. I have to just eat my meal. Not gonna happen. Anyway, so yeah, it's you know, you know, it's like people rather have pets than children. Rather have a pet than a child in modern times. When in fact children are a blessing, you know, but it's just too much work. I mean, you know, you got the career, you got the big house, the big mortgage, you know, the big boats and all this stuff, and the lifestyle you have to lead, you know, which profit nothing in the end because they die and leave everything. When you die and leave children, godly children, they can continue to bless the world. You know, your children are real legacies. Children, I believe, are the only true legacy. The only, well, not the only true, the only tangible legacy are children. You can leave an empire. You can leave let's say Bill that you're evangelist and you're going you convert people to Christ. That right there, of course, is the number one legacy. As Christ say, who's my mother, who's my father, who's my brother, those who do the will of my father. And in fact, to plant churches to win people to Christ is in fact strong. That's the richest treasures in heaven right there. That's true. Second to that, children, and only children. Second to that is kids. To raise up a godly child who can keep producing and keep living for God and influencing people for God. And it's like a active part of you that you leave behind on this planet. It's like it's like you left yourself. Your legacy is really can be in your children, not in a pet. Not in a pet. No, I love animals, and my favorite animal was of course a dog, and then I found this stray cat. It's called Haitian. You can see him on my channel. I love that cat. Of course, he's not my pet, but I don't think he wants to be a pet anyway, because I think it's in his blood to be a stray cat, a feral cat. So he just comes home and eats and leaves, And if you want to stay inside a dog, I don't know, really, to be honest with you, but all the hair he sheds, but I'll put up with it. I would take care of him. I still love him. He's a mean cat though, but he's not gonna replace my desire for children. I want children. Children, that's what I want. I don't want a pet. Children. And if I gotta choose between my child or children and pets, I'll choose children. So that's what I'm saying, is that modern life, everything is twisted up and down. People walk behind dogs and pick up their feces. That's ridiculous. Let the dog out. Let the dog go poo somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I ain't walking behind a dog and pick no feces. But they'll abort children. Pick up a dog's feces, walking a dog, or versus a child. No, they abort a child and get a pet and walk behind the pet and pick up his feces. This world is messed up. Jesus Christ is Lord. Have a good day.